All right, what's up everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Scout Life Race Terra edition. We're getting ready for NORRA. In just about 4 weeks, we leave for the Baja Peninsula. This video, we're going to be tackling some new projects and wrapping up some old projects. So the old projects are we're gonna wrap up the intake manifold. Got a throttle, cable, bracket to make, dialing in the return spring, stuff like that. Then we'll do some nut and bolt checks down the road off camera. But some major new projects too. We got some anti-gravity. These are really cool lithium-ion batteries because they are start capable. So these are, look at this. It's like 13 pounds. Woo! So these are going to replace the Optima batteries. That's going to save us about 50 pounds. We're going to be installing some KC slim light LEDs. The daylighters are great lights. I love the vintage look and kind of traditional feel of them, but they just weren't enough light at night for these old eyes. So wanted to get more light, but still maintain a vintage look. So KC recommended these slim light LEDs, so we'll throw those in. The daylighters will be going on the chase truck up in Oregon. And then part of the intake project is this brand new hybrid Scout / Chevy radiator. And I did some research, and a brass radiator is actually 7 pounds heavier than a comparable aluminum radiator. But we're gonna stick with brass because it's more flexible and it cracks less. Yeah, aluminum, I guess, is more rigid, and talking with US Radiator, the recommendation was to stick with brass. Brad's here to help, so we're going to be doing batteries, radiator, lights, and front suspension. We did the rear suspension, which is essentially just new bushings and lubricating the bushings, inspecting the nuts and bolts, and re-Loctiting everything. Be a lot of time lapse, but I'll share with you what's going on. Thanks for watching. Let's go. All right, so comment below, but we're using Loctite brand anti-seize instead of grease for the bushings. I've tried grease and it tends to just dissolve and make a tacky kind of surface that eats up the bushings. But I replaced these bushings after last year's race, and they have about 600 miles on them of some lighter duty racing, rallying. So Brad inspected those, they look good. We're just cleaning them, recoating them. And this is 600 miles of use. There's no real, it seems like it's just the coating, but we're gonna replace the hardware anyway. All right, so we've been cranking away. Brad got all the front suspension inspected, new bolts, and lubed, if you will. Now we're gonna put the tires back on. Don't know if you saw these, but these are the General Grabber X3s, 33, 10, 515 on a Nomad Convoy 501 in utility gray, so I'm digging the look. So we're gonna bolt those on, lower the truck down. I've been working on this plate right here, which is the accelerator throttle return spring. And I'm trying my best to package things in such a way so if we have to do emergency service in the field, you know, there's one bracket that comes off that'll hold both the accelerator cable and the throttle return spring. So, and I just got a new, the 196 accelerator cable was too short, so this is a diesel. I'm trying to stick with stock IH parts. So the problem is, like, this one is 31 inches long, and then you jump to like 60 inches long on the diesel. So, but anyway, then we're gonna get going on the lights. We'll show you those as soon as we get the tires on. All right, so the Scout is back on all fours. That is great. Wheels are torqued. Suspension is now officially done. All the lubrication, like meaning U-joints, tie rods, all the ball joints are all lubed and replaced. Intake and engine stuff is coming along. Next up, Brad is going to work on these lights. Again, these are KC Slim Light LEDs. These are the daylighters, also LEDs. And again, I really like these lights. They did great. But just from feeling, this is way more substantial, and we still have some cool classic KCs. I might modify, I like the smiley face in the yellow, so I'm going to see if we can't get that to work. But anyway, Brad's going to fit those on there, and I'll be excited to have more light. In the meantime, I'm going to work on the batteries. So the batteries are in the back of the Scout, well, middle of the Scout. There's the Optimas. They did great. I lost an alternator on a really long day, and I made it approximately like over 100 miles on just battery power. So the way we have it set up, there's an AB switch and a red arc DC to DC charger. So it's a great system, but I got to change. We're going to a Group 24 lithium ion. So I got to change the brackets, and the cage was made for these brackets. So it might be a little bit of work, but let's get into it, and I'll be excited to shave. Well, let's find out how much we're going to shave. So I'll get these batteries out and we'll weigh them. All right, so one cool thing about KC is all the plugs are, I guess, the same, at least for the slim lights and the daylighters. So what we're trying to see is we have these lights mounted horizontally, both the inner and the outer. These are more oriented to go vertically. So we are going to test the pattern. It's a spot pattern. So we're going to see how workable they are. Did that turn them on? That's just your headlights. Okay. Nothing happened? No. It's because they're on the S-Pod. The S-Pod needs voltage signal to... let me see what we could do here. All right, so we got the S-Pod triggered by starting the rig up. We're going to test the lights now. Jeez. So is this the one you unplugged?
Yeah.
Let's just
comparison.
Yeah, let me see this. So yeah, these are way brighter. You got it?
Much bigger burst, much wider beam.
Well, the good thing is because these are spots, can you rotate it 90? It doesn't really matter. So we're going to continue with the install. All right, let's go. All right, Ben is here. We're gonna weigh the Optima. This is an Optima blue top. So let's call it 45 pounds. Now it's right there on the bottom shelf. And now we're gonna weigh the anti-gravity group 24. 13 pounds. So do the math, that's
A 35-pound difference?
35, really?
Yeah.
35 pounds, so that's
battery.
70 pounds we're gonna save on batteries. Plus the mounts are, for the anti-gravities are aluminum. The mounts for the Optimas are steel. So we'll see what we save there. That's good news. And Brad's got a system worked out to mount these KCs. It's getting good. All right, Ben's in the fight of his life. Got about 10 pounds of hardware.
Do you have something, is it on the bottom still?
Now you gotta get that bolt out.
No, I know, but it won't come out.
Try harder. Woo! Never give up.
Got it.
How's she feel? Pretty heavy?
Heavy.
Kyle built this back in the day. So now we're gonna weigh these two aluminum ones versus this one. Oh baby, I can already tell.
Want the bolts with it?
All right, let's do it. All right, and we're back with the scale technician, Ben. Now we're gonna weigh the bracket. 12.6 pounds. These are from ICT. Hold on, let it reset. Oh.
5.8. Like, see what it pops up right away.
5.8. So what was it, 12.6 to 5.8? So half the weight. So another 6 pounds, 7 pounds. Yeah, 7 pounds of savings on the bracketry. Those are all solid wins. Signature. All right, new day. It's a beautiful day outside. Today is Radiator Day, so we're gonna swap the radiator. We're going to button up a few things under the engine bay. We have to re-zip tie all these wires and stuff like that. A couple small fabrication projects. I think I'm gonna take these off. We didn't really use them in the race. And yeah, I don't know. So I think they're gonna go. Save 2 pounds. And I'm working on the batteries. Kind of an interesting setup over there. So I'm working on that. And then we're gonna go for a test drive. All right, so here's the battery tray setup. It's pretty cool. I ended up having to stack it to fit inside the vehicle, which is fine. I'll run some spacers under this leg. And then I think these battery trays are made for a group 34 and these are group 24. So I'm gonna have to extend the post and this threaded rod. So cutting those down to 9 inches. Using the old magic saw. These are great for a small shop. Someday maybe I'll get a nice large drill press, but for now, it's what we got. Let's go. All right, this might be more detail than you want to see, but essentially the radiator was just sagging a little bit on these rubber isolated mounts. So what we did was very tight tolerance machine down this top hat so that it sits, so that when it crushes, it's essentially just like 1/1000th over the 1/8 inch bracket. So that should tighten that up. We got a new lower radiator hose with better documentation so that if we need to replace it, I can order spares. And yeah, we're cranking. Let me show you the battery tray progress. I got it all fit. This is saving us 7 pounds right there, baby. And I know I keep saying this, but sorry for the crappiest video ever that we just skipped to giant progress leaps. But yeah, we scored, man. We got a really good, I spent about an hour at O'Reilly's just digging around through radiator hoses because it's 1.5 inch. But as you can see, it's looking good. We have a little bit of a coil wire clearance, so we're gonna try to find a 90, a little longer coil wire. There's some tight packaging, but overall looking good. We're gonna make a bracket to hold this fuel line just to keep it from rattling around. We're gonna add some zip ties because we cut most of them. And we should be running here in I don't know, about hopefully 20 minutes. All right, here we are at the back of the Race Terra. Man, it's so nice working on like batteries that are super lightweight. This was an expensive upgrade, but I already feel like it's worth it. Yeah, so that's the packaging. 70 pounds lighter, a little, maybe more than 70. So I'm pretty stoked. So we'll get this hooked up. Brad's gonna fill the coolant system and we're gonna fire it up, let it warm up, and hopefully move her today. So here's the batteries, pretty much all wrapped up. I wanted to put the terminals on this side so that the batteries were oriented positive. So this is a little confusing because it's positive, negative. But this little switch right here, that I'm not sure what that does, but it was like underneath this aluminum bracket, and that just isn't good. So ultimately, if I ever have a problem, I can get a reversed battery where it can orient this way and positive is over here. I can't remember if that's a right hand orientation or left hand, but anyway, they're in. I'm gonna fire up the system now and do some check-ins. So let's crawl through the back. So our S-Pod works. Let's hit our ignition, fuel. Everything sounds good. Gauges. So looks good. Gotta get cooling in it. Oh yeah. Put away some tools, do some cleaning up. Things are a mess around here. Yeah, there's kind of tools everywhere, but we're cranking. All right, so super fun session. Super thankful to Brad. He's out of this bay right now. But got the big four: batteries, radiator, the lights, and the front suspension all gone through. So I think now we're in the home stretch, so I'm gonna fire it up. We're gonna let it warm up, and hopefully she does well. So we're just gonna check for leaks. Got no clearance issues.
No fan rub, that's good.
Yep.
Not seeing anything coming out of there either.
Can we top that off a little bit?
Yeah, I can open a brand new one for it.
It's so interesting. The manifold is like really cold.
What's up?
The manifold is really cold.
Yeah. It's gonna dissipate heat a lot.
Yeah. I don't see any leaks. I think we lost some audio there, so my microphone died, but thanks for watching. The next time you'll see us, we'll be buttoning up some little minor details and then hitting the desert to do some testing. Really stoked on this project. I feel a little over my head, but it's a good place to be, I guess. Thanks to our sponsors, and most of all, thanks to you guys that support the project, the Vintage Scout Race Program. Thanks to Scout Motors for being such a good sponsor to us. See you out in the desert. All right, so some time has passed. The intake is all installed. We have our old numbers from the original setup with the 1-barrel cast iron intake, all that kind of good stuff. Made 62 horsepower at 3,600 RPMs and 122 foot-pounds of torque, I think. But I'll look at the data sheet. But anyway, we're back with the new intake fully installed. Did a little test drive. We're gonna fire it up, see what she does on the dyno. So let's go check it out. We're just sitting, letting the engine warm up. We want to get it up to operating temperature. Show you some of the gauges. And as we tune the motor, we're gonna tune for cruising. I don't really care too much about like street drivability. I just want good, you know, half to wide open throttle performance. Because that's in Baja, we are going full throttle basically the whole time. So I'm willing to sacrifice some drivability stuff in the tuning department of jetting, and you know, so once we get the air fuel ratio meter hooked up, we'll be able to see where we're at. And before it was a little, I think it was a little rich at low RPM at an idle, but it was like 13 to 1, I think. I should have all this data memorized, but it was really nice mixture at wide open throttle and partial throttle. So she's about warm. I'm gonna back her in and we'll get her set up on the dyno. All right, so we're loading her on the dyno. I don't know what style you call this dyno, but basically put it on the lift and we back it onto the rollers. Really great shop. I love this place. Super nice people. It's called Bottle Blown Racing. If you're in Central California and need a place to chassis dyno and tune and just hang out, these guys are great. So now we're just gonna strap it all down, get our timing baseline set, and run it, man. I'm so curious. I'm not sure what it's gonna do. We'll see. I've always said it's a success if it's not worse, because I've saved 40 pounds. at least 40 pounds with this intake setup. So, and again, I've been saying this since I dreamed up the idea to get the aluminum intake, is the plenum volume, because it's got that big open plenum and the runners all come in. So there's a lot more volume, and on a low horsepower, low RPM motor, sometimes that can hurt you, but we're gonna find out. So, see what happens. All right, got her all strapped down. We're gonna probably let it run, get a little more heat back in the motor. I was supposed to put an O2 bung in the exhaust, but so we have to do it this way, which causes a little more back pressure, but it's all right. Okay, so here's our specs. So we're running real lean right now, this number up there. So we gotta watch that. We're gonna run the dyno test in 3rd gear. Okay. Calibrating in the dyno. Again, we're paying attention to that air fuel ratio, which is the number on the bottom left that's in red right now. So he's cruising in 3rd gear. All right, let's see what we learn. I'm here with Tommy. He's the
So there's a difference right there. The last time you had was the red graph, now it's the black.
Wow, so we made more power.
Yeah, here we go. Let's put it in there. Light to light.
2 more horsepower, I think.
Oh no, no more than that. So 67.
Oh wow.
62. You got 5 already.
That's great.
But the fuel is the big difference here. So it was way too rich.
So it's right now it's way too rich.
Yeah, well, it's coming back a little bit here, but we still need to take a little bit out. So probably 2 more jet sizes.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do one more run to back it up.
Okay.
And I'll get the air flowing, and then we'll see what we got.
Okay. So just to recap what he said. So we made more power, over 5 horsepower, baby. Woo! I knew I could feel it. Again, like I said, in the mid-range, but it's rich. So, which makes sense because we went from a 1-barrel, tiny 1-barrel to a 2-barrel. So this is our air fuel ratio. So the red was before, which was really nice, and the blacks now we're going rich, and it's starting to come back at full RPM, which is 4,000 RPMs, baby. So it's too rich. We're gonna drop a jet size. We're gonna run it one more time, see what happens, and then we'll do some jetting. All right, we're giving her a second run. I'm pretty stoked, man. We picked up 13 foot-pounds of torque, not at peak, but at the higher, at 3,600 RPMs. So this is significant. We lost no power below 2,000 RPM. So far, man, I'm super stoked. We're gonna run it again. Let's go watch the screen. Super stoked right now. Oh yeah, diesel baby. So we made even more power that time. We're up to 69.5 horsepower at the rear wheels, you guys. That's incredible.
So here's where we're losing it. So we got to improve that. But that's RPM, you're not going to be using, but it's because we have.
It was still rich.
It's
still rich.
2,000. No, here. Go back here. See that lean? Go ahead and go back to power. That's where we lost it.
So the red, what's the
Weird.
blue?
Basically, the second to last, the first one's the red, the very last one's black. So right here, it's a little weird. And they went lean.
These are all from before the last one.
Yeah.
This is the previous one. I wonder why it spiked out. That's where it lost power because it went too lean.
Yeah, when it kind of bogged out like that. But again, that doesn't really bother me.
Well, that could be me because this time, when I laid into it, I went in harder.
It didn't like that.
They didn't like that.
So it needs more squirter.
Yeah, it needed a smooth transition.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's go change the jets and see if we can bring it back up to what we had before. So we need to get this right here. Yeah, 2 jet sizes. I think we'll do it.
All right, let's go check it out.
We'll take 2 out, and we should be good.
All right, so we messed with. What we found was the throttle wasn't opening all the way. I need to do some geometry modifications because that last one, our third run, it like leaned out a little more. So we were chasing. Anyway, let me just flip this. So one thing we were chasing was vacuum leaks. It's possible like something on the intake is leaking a little bit, and that's why it's getting leaner without changing the jets. He's just warming it up. Let's see what happens. All right, so last results, we are still a little on the lean, on the rich. We're still a little on the rich side, and we obviously don't want it to be too lean, but we're gonna try the jets. Whatever, our throttle helped. We picked up our highest torque numbers yet. We are at 130 foot-pounds, and we're knocking on 70 horsepower, which is, that's a lot, man. That's 8 horsepower gain. And we're still, so Tommy's gonna change, we're going 2 jet sizes down from a 61 to a 59. And then we will, then we'll go after a little bit of timing, just probably do a couple pulls with the timing, try to see if it likes a little more advanced. But let's see what happens when we lean it out a little bit. All right, so we went down 2 jet sizes. Sorry I didn't film that. It's kind of pretty straightforward on these Holley 2300s. I'm gonna let it warm up again and give her another go. We're trying to break that magic 78 horsepower. cleaned it out. Look at this, baby. Picked up more torque and 71.2. That's almost a 10 horsepower gain from our last numbers.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, last time I made
Oh, that's
61.9.
That's right, yeah.
So we're doing good, man. This is exciting. We're gonna check timing, then we're gonna make a final run. All right, so we lost, it was really in far advanced. It was advanced to like 22 initial. So I backed it down to 15 initial, so we're gonna see what happens. Picked up, man. We're at 73 horsepower. That's like 11 horsepower gain.
61,
So I liked that we had too much advance.
yeah, look at that.
So you got a happy medium there.
You got more torque on the top,
Top end with
That's weird.
Yeah.
You got more torque on the top end.
you lost a little torque on the bottom end when you retarded. That's weird. This is the opposite. You
Yeah.
got more torque.
Huh. I'm running 91 octane fuel.
So I'd say, knowing that you have the two realms, you go about half and half then. So if you're at 15, you're at 20, so like 17,
The
17
blue
and a
one
half.
here was the third one from the last time you were here.
Wow. So yeah, look, the blue one was our last run with the cast iron intake. So it did hurt us a little under 2,000 RPMs, but I'm not racing under 2,000 RPMs. And significant increase at 4,000. It's really doing well.
That's at this point looking at 71.4 the last time, and now you're on 91.2.
So yeah, 20 foot-pounds of usable.
Wait, I'm looking at the wrong power. 54.3 and 69.4.
So 15 more horsepower at 4,000 RPMs. That's a lot. That's power you can feel. We're in V8 land now. No, maybe like straight 6 land. All right, we're gonna deliberate a little more and see what's going on.
That's 8.6% increase in overall horsepower.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's real good.
8%, man.
Almost 9.
All right, that's a wrap this time. So a successful venture for the 196 and the Race Terra program. Tommy and the guys at Bottle Blown, thank you so much. These guys are just the best, man. They're so fun and gracious and kind and smart. So we learned a few things. So we picked up 10 horsepower, about an 8% increase, and about 8 foot-pounds of torque. So that's power you can feel, man. That's a straight 6 land right there. So I'm happy. I'm excited to see the new and improved 196. So we're gonna pack her up. See you next time. Thanks for following along.